Today, we're going to talk about using learning outcomes in Canvas. And before we do, I really want to explain to you how you're going to use them before I show you the details of actually setting them up. So what happens is first you start by creating outcomes. Outcomes are ultimately just learning targets that we want to see our students achieve. So the top two ways I see you using these are one, to track their progress through SOL objectives, and two, to track their progress through IEP goals. So you're going to start by setting up those outcomes, and that's what we're going to cover today. After you've set up learning outcomes and added those goals, those objectives to Canvas, you're going to move on to creating rubrics. And rubrics are just going to take the learning objectives that you have set up and assign point values to them. From there, you're going to attach those rubrics to assignments and any assessment that you give in Canvas if you want to. And then you will be able to track their progress over time based on how they scored on those outcomes in various assignments. So let's look at how to set that up. Like I said, you're going to start by creating the outcomes themselves. And you can get to outcomes by navigating here through the course navigation menu in any of your courses. And then to set up outcomes, you're actually going to start by setting up groups of outcomes. And a group is just like a folder. So if you click on plus group, and you're going to start by naming it. So let's use 8th grade language arts as an example. I might name my first group LA 8.1. And this objective is about working in small groups. So that might be a little addition that I put on this to remind myself about what 8.1 is. And then I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste from the SOL documentation exactly what LA 8.1 is. And I can just paste that right into the rich content editor and click save. So now you see I've got a folder of my LA 8.1 objectives. And to this folder, I'm going to add an outcome. And the outcome that I'm going to add, as you might guess, is going to be called 8.1A. I can also give it a friendly name, a summary of what they would be doing here. In 8.1A is about responsibility. And then again, I can just copy and paste directly from the SOL documentation what that standard is. And I can paste that right in here. And then as I scroll down, I can add a scoring part to it. So if I were to attach this to a rubric, how would I score them? If they exceed expectations, how many points will they get? 5, 3, 0? What's the total points they can receive? And where is mastery achieved at? At what level can I say this student has definitely mastered the topic? After that, I'm going to choose a calculation method, and I'm going to suggest that we use their highest score so that once they've shown mastery, we can say, great, you've shown it. If you want to see what each of the calculation methods do, this box down here shows you how they calculate. So once I've added all of this for 8.1A, I can click save. And now I've got my folder and 8.1A, and I can go on to add 8.1A. 8.1B, 8.1C, and so on. And then I can move on to LA 8.2 and LA 8.3. So this could be a time-consuming thing unless it is something that as a department is decided to be done or as a CLT you decide to do. It's not something I'd try to sit down right now and tackle. Later, once you have your outcomes set up, you can create your rubrics here. And then when you create assignments, you can add those rubrics to the assignments. And then you'll be able to assess them in the speed grader. So it's a lot to wrap your head around. So today, my challenge to you isn't going to be to start creating a million outcomes or rubrics or assignments, but rather to think about what things you most would like to track your students' progress in over time. What specific rubric item would you like to see recurring again and again that you could use in Canvas? Think about that. Talk about that with your CLT and think about how this is one way Canvas might make you better able to track data and show student success over time.